Hi everyone, Soul Super 17 here. Let me get through this like usual. I do not own the picture, not pay video. Well, pictures, not pay video, and I made a thumbnail. So, I know I did not make a what if last night. I kind of was watching episodes, and then I said I was going to work on it as soon as I woke up, but I had to do some stuff, and, well, I mean, I'm making it now, before work. So, I am gonna be covering. I'm gonna be like mostly changing up some things now. I'm not gonna go the whole entire thing to Shino's story. If you guys want to, hear more about it, I'm just gonna give like the quick rundown. But like I said, if you want to hear more about it, just go watch the anime. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into this. This is what if Naruto was reincarnated as a slime, part 3. So, last time we left off is basically just Rimuru Naruto basically defeated Infrit and basically took him into basically away from Shizu. Basically, Infrit inside basically Rimuru's stomach, or, well, holder, pocket dimension, and part of him, that basically where the door is, yeah, Infrit's just there. So, Infrit, rest in peace, somewhat. You're gonna be back anyways. Okay, moving on. So, what happens though is because of this, Naruto slash Rimuru is basically inside the tent while Ranga is actually waiting for Rimuru to, come out, while the adventurers that basically were with Shizu, I just had to go to their names again, because I never remember them. No, Cavill, Aaron, and Gaido, are just out. So, Naruto is waiting for Shizu to actually, wake up, or, to see if she's alright, because something's off. So he's thinking, okay, what's wrong with her? Why does it seem like she's dying? It could have been like Infri and her soul were tied like me and QB. Kurama. In which, before anything else can happen, Shizu wakes up. He's like, you're awake. You should really get some sleep just to rest. Which Shizu goes like, oh, Mr. Slime. And he was like, yeah, it's me. But seriously, you need to rest. She goes, I don't really think I'm gonna be okay after this. I'm kind of changing things up because, it kind of, like I said, I was gonna change some things. Which, basically, the rumor goes like, what do you mean? Then she goes on to explain her life, how she even got to the world, what happened, and about, like, how she basically even killed her first friend because of Aphrit by the order of the Demon King she was summoned by. And then how she was saved by a hero who became like a partner, friend, and how she disappears. And then she tells her about becoming an adventurer and wanted to help out people and became stronger on her own, which Naruto was like, yeah, I could tell. You really like to help out people, it seems like, and you really are strong. I'm glad for you, basically. And she basically nods, saying thank you. And then she even talks about how she became a teacher, and most of her, students, went on their separate paths. Like, one of them became the guild master, another one, followed her own path. And now she doesn't think she has nothing to teach anyone anymore. So, Naruto goes like, come on, there's always basically someone to teach out there in the world. You never know. So, don't say you can't teach no more. In which she kind of chuckles at that. So basically though, she says that her time is up, and she knows, basically. But the thing is, she asked though for, his actual name. She basically says, Mr. Slime, can you tell me your name? And he goes, it's Rimuru Tempest. She goes, no, your original name. And he goes, before I was killed and reincarnated, right? She does a nod. He goes, Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. She goes, Naruto Uzumaki. What a strange name. But it fits you. And then he kind of just chuckles at that. And he goes, and yours? Shizun. Which, Shizun, Akazawa? I think it was. I'm probably wrong, but probably Shizune. I just remember it's like Shizun, basically. I'm probably wrong. Most likely. I have bad memory sometimes. But anyways, so, he goes, oh, that's a nice name. She does says thanks. So, she basically then says, she basically says, Naruto, can you please promise me, or, well, promise / fulfill a final request for me? I know this is selfish, but please. In which Naruto was like, what do you mean? She goes, I want you to eat me. Which he's shocked, and he goes, why? She basically says, I don't really hate this world, but I don't like you either. Like, I can't hate the demon lord that summoned me. Yeah, she can't hate the demon lord that summoned her, or she can't like him either. She goes, which then, Naruto goes, but what's the demon lord's name then? She goes, Leon Cromwell. And then he goes, Leon Cromwell. Is there anything else you want me to do? She basically nods. She goes, two more things. How about the children at the school I was teaching at, and to ask Leon about if I think it was a normal girl, and that she was like worth anything, I guess, because he basically abandoned her and such. So, in a sense, I mean, that's probably what I can remember because I was really just starting to get tired when I was watching it. So anyways, though, which Naruto basically does the exact same thing, promise her on the name Naruto, and he goes, no, on the name Rimuru Tempest, I will, fulfill your promises and wish. And she goes, thank you, and, dies, basically. Hair changing color from black to white, and, getting older. So, in a sense, Naruto uses Predator and, eats her, basically. And now, because of this, right when, basically, Kaval, Eren, and Gaido, come, so does Rigurd. And, basically they open up the tent, along, basically Ragnar's there. So when they see Naruto, okay, so because Naruto is a slime that also has a fox form, basically a slime fox, yeah, he's gonna have 9 tails. And, has ears, basically, of a fox. But he looks like what you can imagine Naruto would like he fused with Kurama, basically. Red hair, well, reddish-orange hair, basically. And, when, at least his eyes would be slit, so when he looks back at them, they're all shocked. Including basically Rigurd and Ragnar, because, he actually has a human form now. And, well, they see him crying. So basically, after everyone goes like, what? Basically, we do cut to the scene when Naruto basically has a shirt on, and he goes, and then he explains what happened to Shizu, and, her final wishes was. And he does apologize. He didn't know when they were going to come back, and she didn't want to basically be a part of the world. I want to give her a final resting place she wanted, he said. In which, basically, they go, I know that, Kaval says. So, he just says, but I just wish we could say goodbye to her, and besides, Are you sure you're Rimuru? I mean, I know you could turn to. You're a slime that could turn into a fox slime, but. I mean, he goes, yep, it's me. And then he suddenly changes back into basically a slime. But then basically he just says, but seriously though, it's weird having all those tails out. Huh. I actually wonder if I could actually use Kitsun Fire. I mean, he says that out loud, and they're kind of just looking at him, blinking. He goes, what? Just a possibility. You never know. I mean, that gets a few chuckles. But then he goes, but all seriousness, I really am, sorry, especially to you too, Aaron. And she goes, no, it's not your fault, and I do understand. So, but they do ask Naruto to basically go back to the human form. The thing is, though, I'm probably gonna still have him look like Shizu a little in his human form, but it's just overall features. It's like how basically it's because of the whole entire Kurama his soul fuse, so it's like I believe it will be a mixture between Shizu and how Naruto would be if he was fused with Kurama. So just imagine overall features like a little bit like Shizu, a little bit like Kurama fusing Naruto. All right, okay. So yeah, I mean honestly, someone tell me in the comments if you think that's a good idea. Or just keep it regular, just Shizu, but just keep the hair orange red and the fox tails and the ears. It just makes sense. He can, use them or have them. So, anyways. So after he does, he just goes into normal human form, not, having the ears or the tails out. They basically say what they do into canon. And, in a sense, after basically Aaron's hugging and crying, he basically just pets her. Basically, he says he's glad that she was with these three on our final adventure. But then after a few minutes, she goes like, "Also, I just have one question. What's with the crappy gear?" And which they like, mean. But so what happens is then after a bit of time, they got new gear, and they met Kaiji, Garm, Dord, and Mirrored, and they basically thank them over and over again. So Naruto does actually, how should I say this right? He does make a grave for Shizu and prays at it, and he promised that he'll keep his promise and find this Leon, whatever his name is, and give him a punch right in the face before asking his questions. And then he turns back to a slime. He goes, I don't know what I prefer. I prefer the other form and this one. I mean, they're both pretty good. So, I would not say the whole entire Orc Lord event happens, because I'm trying to have something where someone comes into the world, but they're gonna be before Naruto ever came. Because I want to have Naruto have someone from his world, and I literally think it'll be a good thing for basically Naruto to have someone from his world there. So, I did say a day there, it's always 2 days for the whole entire Naruto world. So, what I think will happen is the Chunin exams happened early. Many days, have passed. Those days had passed when the whole entire reconstruction of the town. It's basically, let's say, 3 weeks / a month. 3 weeks, about a month and 3 weeks have passed. I do believe I'm wrong on the time frame. But for this one, we're kind of having this because I thought about adding someone into it, like I was saying. So, the whole entire basically Orc Lord being made does happen during this time frame. And it does take a while for them to actually find out, but it always takes like a couple of days or so. But anyways, like I'm saying, this because of Sasuke, Sakura, everyone being older and they were not part of the Chunin exams, they basically had the Chunin exams only after a month. Basically, a month and 3 weeks. So during the month, they went on the mission with Tazuna. They trained their butts off. Sai was a part of the team. Well, technically, Sai is working for Danzo, but it's like a double agent for Hiruzen. This one, so he has emotions, and he doesn't work for Orochimaru. Or Danzo. Doing what he does. So Hiruzen knows about it. So Danzo will be taken care of. Has been already taken care of. Root has been taken care of already. Orochimaru, does get the curse seal to Sasuke, but the whole entire funniest thing is, Orochimaru never met anyone had a strong will. Because of Naruto's death and him promising never to go back on his word, Orochimaru's curse seal literally has a harder time taking effect on Sasuke, even influencing him. Heck, to the point Orochimaru nearly lost during basically Sasuke's training. Sakura has gotten stronger. She's part of the Chunin exams. Lost. Hinata got stronger. Beat Neji. But also, at the same time, telling how she actually feels about her clan. And basically kind of makes Hasashi winces at the glare she gives at him. So, yeah. Anyways, so what happens is very simple. Though during the whole entire invasion arc, Sasuke defeats Gaara, and he tells how he knew someone just like him, and how he knows the same pain as him. Given the whole entire talking no jutsu thing to Gaara. That happens. Just Sasuke is the one who's, replacing Naruto. He did learn toad summoning. I mean, it would make sense to me just to have him, have at least something to fight off Gaara. But at the same time, I don't think he'll have a summoning, but it's like, I don't know what else way for him to actually beat Gaara at this moment without his Mangekyo, and he basically learns about the whole entire Susanoo. So in a sense, Jiraiya summoned a toad. Gamabunta told him to help out Sasuke, and that's how they defeat Gaara. Same way in canon, but just not Naruto. Hiruzen does die, like in canon, Shimigami. But the most funniest thing, though, basically after his death, Hiruzen is in a white room, basically. And he's like, huh? Where am I? Why am I not in the Shimigami's stomach? And, well, someone appears. Two people. A woman, basically, that has a glowing aura around her with clear sky blue eyes and, let's say, golden hair. Also, robe is that it looks like it's basically gold with clouds moving on her kimono. The other one, a man who has horns and white hair and has a kimono but looks ragged and, stained with blood. Basically, even have features that of looking like he's been not eaten for years. In which, basically though, and he's a lot more pale than any person he ever saw. So, Hiruzen's like this. I'm sorry for being rude, but who are you two? Which, the woman, lightly giggles, and she goes, do not worry, Hiruzen Sarutobi. We aren't basically not here to hurt you or anything. I mean, my friend here, basically, had a interesting proposition for you. And he asked, though, for my opinion. I thought it would be a good idea to send you where someone that you knew is at. In which he was like, huh? Who? I'm supposed to be in the afterlife, or at least in the Shinigami's stomach. In which she does not. She goes, oh, I know. I mean, he basically removed you from his stomach and came to me. Which Hiruzen blinks, and then he just starts, his eyes widen because he starts realizing who she is. He goes, you're Kami. You're Kami. In which she does do a light giggle again and nods. And then he looks like, you're the Shinigami? And he goes, yep. Well, it's like you still have some brain, youngster. And then he was like, basically Hiruzen takes a slight gulp, and he goes like, why am I here, Kami and Shinigami-sama? And basically, basically not Kami, but Shinigami goes like, with none of the formalities, sheesh. I don't like those that much. But anyways, I thought it would be a good idea to at least, I don't know, send you somewhere where you can have a different life. Somewhere where a blonde idiot, or should I say blonde, whiskered, hyperactive, unpredictable future Hokage is. Which, basically, for some weird reason, even though Shinigami should not have, basically, should not even be able to smile the way he is, but with Hiruzen's scene, he sees the Shinigami having mischief and basically happy grin, because he's making Hiruzen just gaped. Which Kami is just nodding. She goes, mm-hmm. I mean, after Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze was basically summoned to a different world, or reincarnated, the Shinigami thought, hey, why not send you there? I mean, you've served your village, you have loved ones again, and who knows, maybe you'll meet him someday. But he goes, are you sure? I'll be able to see Naruto again? In which she nods. So, would you, basically though, we only want to ask your, if you want the deal or not. In which he goes, wait, will I not be able to see my loved ones again the other side? Which Shinigami basically takes it serious, and gets all serious. He goes, yes, Hiruzen Sarutobi, you will not be a part of this world no more. So in a sense, you will not be able to see anyone you knew. I'm sorry for that. In which Hiruzen sighs. Then he just asks, can you give a message then to my loved ones, or any future people I knew or care about? They do not see me. In which I think, Kami and Shinigami would at least nod to that. He goes, I'm sorry I'm not there, but I went to go see someone I cherish a lot as my own grandson. And if any time when Konohamaru is there, tell him I still care for him. I'm always proud of him. Especially the man he'll become someday. In which Shinigami just has a light chuckle and grin. He goes, you got it. Now, basically by your actions, I guess this is a yes, Hiruzen. In which he nods. And so, with basically Kami going over to him and tapping him on the forehead, she basically goes, good luck. And he does bow to them, saying, thank you for giving me this chance. And, he just appears in a bright light. Basically, Kami looks over at Shinigami and she was like, what was the real reason why you want him to go over to where Naruto was? He goes, oh, simple. All the people that he basically killed wanted him to basically suffer. I mean, he's a ninja. Of course this is gonna happen. But hey, I mean, the biggest thing that I had to make him suffer was legit being with that kid for all of eternity. And when she blinks and then she just starts laughing a little. She goes, oh, you're so cruel. He goes, hey, may not be a punishment for him, but further down the line it will be. And besides, knowing that kid, he may actually make the shinobi world come to that world. Or at least some aspects of it, so why not have the god of shinobi there? Well, no, it's only the god of shinobi. More like the professor. I forgot that was Hashirama Madara. Anyway, she nods. Kami does. So, Hiruzen back in time. I'm not gonna say who he is or what race he is, but basically he's a race that basically Rimuru would have met in canon. So, anyways, so we're going back to now Naruto. So a few days have passed. Basically, a month and 3 weeks have passed, and well, basically, Naruto has not been work on the form, trying to basically work on the form at all. Some stuff have happened, like some other animals from the forest have come in, kind of destroyed the place a little bit. But I mean, they were able to just get rid of them. It's because of what Infrit did. So in a sense, they are back to rebuilding. Naruto doesn't give much orders because of Kaiji, and basically the other dwarves, along with Rieger and the Goblin Lords, all help. So he decides to go basically test out his new form. And basically, when he does, he basically even takes out the mask and puts it down the side before transforming. But when he does transform, he basically, moving his fingers around and then, blinking, he goes, okay, eyesight, check, movement, check, touch, as then he pokes himself, check, hearing, check. Huh, it seems like my hearing's still better than most humans. I wonder why is that? Basically, it's this way. The Great Sage says this. Because of your soul fused with basically Kurama, aka the Nine-Tailed Fox, aka Kitsune, even though you are not a Jinchuriki, you are a Biju. And because of this, your hearing eyesight is better than most humans. Even though you have a human form, you always will have better hearing. But then he asks, but with magic sense, my hearing and eyesight would be better, correct? She does nod. And he goes, alright. Well, that seems perfectly fine. He goes, huh. I mean, it kind of looked like Shizu and kind of looked like beforehand. I mean, that's actually kind of remarkable, I think. I mean, that's what people said. They look like Shizu, and then basically I'm just guessing on myself, but, wait. It's basically, he goes, I have chakra now. But wait, do I still have Infrit's abilities since I ate him? Which Grace says, yes, you have all Infrit's abilities, including body double. He goes, alright. So he makes the body double. And it basically, as he says, he basically was just guessing what he looked like. He goes, yep, I'm a mixture between Shizu and myself. Weird. I mean, I think Bijus don't have a gender, right? And I don't think I'm a slime, so I won't have one either. So I mean, he kind of just makes the actual, body double disappear back into base black smoke that goes back inside of him. He goes like, wait, why is it black instead of white? And then there's the whole entire explanation of it. It's just magicules making out the black smoke and such. And he goes, ah, understandable. Now then, though. He basically makes the one clone, but then he just says, okay, try Henge. Basically, turns into Naruto. Or basically, the sexy jutsu basically activates, but then it switches to Haruka, Hiruzen, Tuchi, Ayame, Sasuke, Sakura, it just changes form. And then he goes, alright, now dispel yourself. Which it basically salutes and goes, right, boss. And just, releases itself. He goes, huh. So, the chakra works pretty well. As, basically, he puts on, basically, the outfit Rimuru has, and, would have in canon. And he's not going to have no orange or red yet, so, and it's because time. Basically, though, Grace says, yes, like I said, you do have your chakra network now. But only in your human form / kitsune form. And he goes, yeah, I have a large abundance of it. How much chakra do I have? He basically asks Grace Sage. She goes, analyzing. From when you basically came here, I mean, before when you reincarnated here, you were basically on Kage level, or above Kage level chakra. Now, since you became a Biju itself, you now are basically above Kage. Way above. Probably you're basically 5 Kages. Then he goes, yeah, there's the leaf, the sand, the cloud, the rain or / mist, and lightning. Wait, no, not lightning. I mean, sorry, I'm just trying to remember them now. Give me a minute. Okay, it was Stone Village. So basically the 5 elemental nations, basically. And then she goes, well, you're basically surpassed all of that. He goes, So wait, does that mean, since I actually am the Nine Tails, I actually, can beat all Bijus? Which she goes, uh-huh. Plus your actual reserves already as a human, you actually can basically, you're probably at 10 tails. Which he's like, he just blinks. He goes, well now. Ain't that funny? So, I mean, he kind of just has like a miniature life crisis in his head. Basically about it. But then shakes it off, goes like, nope, don't worry about it. But first, whole lot of chakra control. Whole lot of chakra control. I'm gonna need it. That's one of my... I hate that. I hate that so much. So, I mean, he walks out, and then Rigard comes over, gives him the report about the basically ants attack, and basically what was destroyed has been rebuilt, and now basically on their basically how they're gonna have a feast tonight, and if he's actually gonna join, because Naruto has not joined yet, or I mean Rimuru / Naruto. He goes, yeah, I'm not gonna join like you. Wait a minute. Wait, actually, yes, I'll join. I just realized I can actually taste food now. And Rinjuku goes like, really, my lord? That's great. He goes, yes. So basically, Rieger says he'll basically assign some people to go on a hunting trip. And so Naruto's basically just glad about that. So, while basically walking around, waving hi to people, to his people, basically, he talks about, I wonder if we can have like any type of meat, like beef, steak, maybe some rice. But wait, this world has no ramen. Maybe I should try to recreate ramen. Wait, how do you recreate ramen? That sucks. But you know what? If I can't find ramen, I'll try to create it, and someday soon, I will have ramen in this world. Believe it! And then basically he says that to himself, no one was around, and he goes like, oh. I forgot I used to say that all the time. Wow. That kind of was cheesy. Which Grace says goes like, yep. Especially you used to shut that out when you were a kid. He's like, eh. Don't remind me. So, he kind of just walks. He basically finds Rieger, Gonta, and the other, basically, goblins / direwolves that are gonna go out and hunt down, basically, deer bull. A deer, basically, that's a bull, I think. Or a cow. I forgot what it was. It's just some type of, a mixture between a deer or some type of cow / bull / whatever. Which Naruto has a weird image of it in his head. And then, kind of like shakes it off. But basically, going to... Just because I want, I just thought this is so funny in canon. Gonta says what he says in canon about maybe, Naruto's chest will grow. And then Naruto just, stays calm, and then all of a sudden kicks him in the, side of the head, sending him flying. And then Rieger said he'll basically discipline him more. He goes, not at all. I mean, as soon as I figure out what I can do with my normal body, I mean, he kind of just cracked his knuckles. He was like, I bet it'll be quite fun, disciplining myself. Which Gota has like this, yeah, Gobta, I mean, my god. What's wrong with my brain? I said Gota, like, Danganronpa, V3. Okay, Gobta basically just pales at that. So, what happens is very simple, I think. Okay, what was the heck? So, after basically that, they set out. Naruto/Rumor goes back to the cave with what Dora was. And then he basically says to himself, okay, so, because I basically, Shizu, I actually got her unique skill. And she basically was able to conquer or use the flames of Ifrit with the mask on as it presses her, aura. She basically gained this skill to basically actually create other skills with. And he basically says, seriously, how can this degenerate, actually combine skills and basically disassemble skills into different ones, or back to the ones they were before they were combined. I mean, this is very useful, especially the flames that she created through Ifrits. And then all of a sudden, a whole entire circle of black flames appear around him. He goes, wow, this is amazing. Basically, Great Sage, this is due to the extra skill, Black Flames. He goes, well, this really does seem like boss level stuff. I need to put this on the shelf only for emergencies. Or if I actually could do wide range attacks. So, he basically stops it. He basically also puts on the mask. But then he basically asks, so, how's my aura? She goes, your aura has been basically 100% to 0. But your chakra has still there. So he basically does have chakra flow on his arm, and he notices it's still red. It's very potent. It's basically goes I wonder. He just thinks of basically a fire style. He just says in his head, fire style, filling explode jutsu. And all of a sudden, multiple fireballs are shoot out of his head. He goes, what the? I didn't need to use no hand signs. Or actually shoot out from my mouth. Where he says, due to the fact you became a Bijuu, and you're a slime, any part of your body is used as the, source. Basically for the jutsu to take effect. Fire style can basically leave your hand or feet. Water style is actually the same way. Wind style can actually be used all over your body. Then he goes the Hyuga's Kaden. Huh. Alright. But basically before he goes anymore in, he basically gives a call for Ragna for help. So, Naruto, gets on the way. He basically goes to see what's happening. He basically sees Gobta, getting slashed by this old man, basically. That what he could see. Basically, he was like, "Are you hurt?" Wait, no. He doesn't say, "Are you hurt?" Gobta says, the pain." He basically looks at Gobta. He goes it's not life threatening. It's just it's only a little scratch. Basically, only a little bit of blood's gone out. It wasn't really that deep. So he was like, "No, please help me." He was like, "Well, you seem livelier." He was like. Basically, Naruto's walking away. He's like, "No, I'm sorry for making fun of your chest." And Gobta gets hit with basically a heal potion. Ragna is basically attacking the orc. It's the orcs. Basically, two of the mystery people that they don't know, that he doesn't know. And then he tells Rieger to basically retreat. Which then Rieger says, I'm sorry, Lord Rimuru. I was not strong enough." He was like, "No, you did good. Here, take this and take a little break." So basically, he gets heal for heal potion, and he says, "You're too kind, my lord." So after he asks about the other goblins slash direwolves. He basically tells him that the pink one is the one that basically put them to sleep, which Naruto looks over. He's actually kind of surprised. He just thinks to himself, "It's been a while since I've seen someone like with pink hair that bright, with that shade, in a while." Reminds me of Sakura, he thinks. But then he gets out of his musing. So basically, though, he asks Rigurd, he goes like, "Who are these people?" He goes, "These are orcs, sir." He goes, "Orcs? I mean, ogre? Yeah, ogres. I don't know why I said orcs. So, basically, what happens is very simple. I mean, what happens in canon does happen. I mean, they will attack him. So, but the thing is, though, Naruto's gonna do like what Rimuru does. He goes, "Hello there. I don't want you to attack my men here, but I mean, it probably is all just misunderstanding. I mean, we could just talk it out and be very civilized." As basically the one with the red hair, basically with armor, having a katana, which Naruto notices. He goes, "How the heck did he have katanas? Especially, why do I have a weird feeling about that old man? The pressure from it is a lot stronger than I can imagine." In which this old man, ogre, basically is looking at Rimuru, aka Naruto. He goes, "For some reason, I have a feeling about this one. He seems very familiar. If only I was able to, if only I still had some of my chakra, basically from my younger years." I mean, I don't really show it much, but I have very little. So, basically, which the leader ogre, the young master, basically, as Dolman would say, points his sword and is like, "Enough talk, Majin." He goes, "Majin?" He goes, Are you playing me as a fool?" Basically, blah blah blah. In which Naruto just like ignored him. He's like, "Seriously, just because of my map? I mean, why is he calling me a Majin?" And then he says, he basically points his sword, basically, "That mask is proof enough." And he was like, "Oh, this mask? No, 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 no. This one's only from a keepsake. A friend of mine died recently, so I basically kept it as a thing to remind me. I mean, I kept it as a reminder of her." He was like, "Does not matter. This is proof enough." As then Naruto just sighs. He goes, "You know what? I tried to just diplomatically, but you left me no choice." And then he literally just does the normal cross-eyed that this old ogre realizes. He goes, "Kage Punchin no Jutsu," or aka Multi-Shot Clone Jutsu. Whatever one you want to prefer. As in, multiple Narutos appear, around 50 of them. Like in the trees, basically. Just looking at basically the ogres. In which they're all shocked, and he goes like, "So, can I dance?" Naruto, I think Naruto would say that. I mean, just to be like, cocky. Yeah, so basically what happens is very simple. The ogres quickly realize he's a lot stronger. I mean, one of the female ogres, basically, the one that has the mace, yeah, basically took out a lot of the clones, a good like 20 of them, while the bigger one that had the hammer did take out 10. The red hair one and the old man one, along with the ninja like one, also basically take out a good couple of them. It's just basically the female ogre, has a lot of strength that basically had rubble hit most of them. But they did, like I said, they quickly realized. Basically, Naruto used paralyzed breath on one of them, which made him basically not move or sleep. Then a couple of clones use sticky string, basically having her basically suspended in the air, while the blue-haired single horn one basically did quick enough cut down too, while another one basically had basically his whole entire arm turned to scales, basically making his sword broke, and then if a chakra kick him in the stomach, sending him flying. And well, Ragna basically and a few clones are around basically the pink-haired ogre. One of them has like lightning in his hand, the other one has wind, basically with his hands going to like a blade motion. As another one does have like basically some water in the air, just turned into like Zenbon. As she was like, he took us out so easily, especially with the numbers. As the old ogre says, young master, we underestimated him, especially that he uses spiders. I forgot the name of the spider, but the spider sticky strain, the something lizard scales, and the paralyzing breath of the snake. No, not snake, centipede, whatever, creature. Which, he goes, and besides, he clones himself and has these weird unlimited ninjutsus. Meanwhile, this old man is basically like, how does he have chakra? Wait, could it be? No, couldn't. But it has to be. So, he decides to disappear very quickly. And Naruto goes like, you should really just give up. As all of a sudden, what happens is very simple. Naruto says in his head, because of Kurama's memory, he goes, Ursa, mud wall! He basically just slams his foot in the ground, as the sword does hit the mud wall, but it basically, this old ogre only has enough chakra to coat his weapon in it, his sword, and it cuts right through the mud wall, or earth wall, earth wall basically, as Naruto did put his arm up, blocked it, but his arm was retaken off. In which he jumped back. He was like, okay, now that is no ordinary old man. Seriously. He's like Gigi. He thinks to himself. And then he sees the old ogre goes like, surprisingly you were able to basically nearly stop my attack and also prevented me from cutting off your head. But next time I won't miss. In which he's just thinking, jeez, this guy's serious. So, what happens is very simple. The leader, the basically older brother / young master, does, say exactly the same thing to Naruto. Saying that, he'll perish at his final day. Which Naruto just starts chuckling and then falls on laughter. He goes, I'm sorry, but you really think? As he literally just goes over, picks up his arm, and it literally starts coating in flames. And he just moves it closer to his arm. As it starts to solidify back into a regular arm. Can really defeat me like this. I can regenerate my limbs very simply. And besides, as respect for, your tenacity, I'll show you something I'm still not used to just yet. He takes off the mask, but when he was taking off the mask, slowly and surely though, 2 ears pop out and 9 tails pop out. Which, flashbacks for the old ogre, which if you guys don't know, I know I should probably say it, but you guys can figure it out, probably did. Yeah, just have flashbacks of it. And he goes, it can't be. And then, he goes, basically, he's still keeping his calm and, cool and collectiveness. He goes, master, we cannot defeat him. We have to retreat and get our allies to safety. Which he goes, I cannot. I must defeat him, even if it costs me my life. Which Naruto literally goes, sighs. He goes, alright then, how about this? he just raises up his hand and he uses black fire, in which it's a lot stronger than it would have been in canon with Rimuru. If you really think about it. So let's just say this: it's like it legit is like a literally inferno hurricane, which everyone's shocked by, and basically the pink-haired ogre basically saying Black Flame is only as strong as the user's will, basically. And then he's just looking at the actual rock. He goes, and now this. So instead of using black lightning, he basically just shoots out a water stream that cuts right through the actual rock. And he thinks, is chakra a lot more potent here? Which Great Sage, no, due to your chakra levels it is. And besides, your chakra is more denser and have more potency to it. He's like, true. In which, yeah. So, the young master basically does try to attack, but then the pink-haired, aka sister, or the princess, doesn't, when Naruto finds out she's a princess, basically says he's not basically like the one we saw. I mean, he has a different mask, he didn't try to kill us, he only knocked us out, all that stuff. So, yeah. So basically, after that, he stops using the black flame. He goes like, alright then, now that we're all cooled off. So, so basically the brother of the ogre princess asks, just what are you? He goes, oh, me? I'm a fox slime. Simple as that. As then he just turns into a slime. Basically, then all of a sudden it grows like fox feet, fox ears and a tail, and like a little paws. Well, basically, little paws, and jumps onto Ragna's back. Lays down. He's like, a slime? That's a fox? Question marks popping on the three people's heads. And then he goes, anyway, so he takes out the mask and show him it. And they find out it's a magical suppression mask and such. So, after that, we do have Naruto and the ogres to basically release. Well, he basically gets his people out, even helps awaken them, from their from being unconscious, along with the princess taking off the sleeping spell, and they go back to the camp. So that night, they basically, are waiting for Naruto to eat. And when he does, eat the food, he goes, it's good! And so, basically while he's eating, everyone's having a good time. Some of the ogres are basically dancing. Basically while the master, the princess's brother, the young master, along with not Gopta, but Rigurd and Rigger, along with Kaijin, are basically talking about the orcs and what they did and such, how they have plate mail armor like humans. So they talk about them basically working for someone else, like a demon lord and such. So all that happens. Then after Rimuru comes over. Basically he hears it. He also then basically says, so what are we gonna do now? He goes, huh? And to be fair, you don't really have a place to go to. And you don't know if any of your allies are alive, or even still even got away. So, how about this? Stay here. And work on, basically work for me for a time, until you have a home base, and, well, you basically get your revenge and leave. It's your choice. I'm not gonna, basically stop you from leaving after your whole entire revenge mission is done, but honest and true, avenging someone and going down the path of revenge are totally different things. There's a lot of darkness that basically can consume you if you go down the path of revenge. In which the young master is looking at him and he sees basically before he even says anything, he sees basically the eyes of Rimuru Tempest, the fox slime, looking in the distance or have a distance gaze in his eyes, and he just looks like a lot older than he should be, basically to him. As in he gets out of it, he goes like, "Well, anyways, time to go back for the food," and he gets him and leaves. So, same thing will happen with the young master. He even talked. Well, oh yeah, he also forgot. He also talked about his sister, how she was being a sheltered child, and that the Gobelinas took a liking to her right away. So yeah, but anyways, while basically the young master and his friend, that's basically the ninja, with the one horn of blue hair, have a little discussion, Naruto basically makes a cage buncheon and leaves. And he basically goes into the forest and just sighs. He goes, "Alright, well, I gotta learn some more. I was able to do some ninjutsu just by instincts, funny enough. But I need to have a lot more chakra control. Most of my chakra was being wasteful. So, tree walking, water walking, kunai balancing, in this case, dagger balancing, Zenbon, I have to ask Kaiji if he can actually make kunais and Zenbon and shurikens. Then shuriken spinning, heck, lift sticking, and actually water walking plus tree walking and maybe boulder walking. Have small boulders walking with my feet." And before Naruto can even think anymore, he hears the old man saying, "Why you left the party?" In which he basically sees the ogre old man be like, "What are you doing here, old man? I thought you'd be having fun." He goes, "Oh, I was enjoying the meal and the party, but I saw you left. So, tell me, what is your troubles?" He goes, "Well, I just recently got a body, and I'm, trying to figure out what I can do with it. Especially, I'm trying to figure out what type of new skills I have with this body. And try to see if I actually want to try to use a sword." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, that's good. I mean, I can always teach you if you want. Heck, I can even teach you how to use a bow staff." In which he just looked at the ogre old man. He's like, "Really?" He's like, "Uh-huh. I mean, none of the people back in my village want to learn a bow staff, most of the sword. But I did taught quite a few people, like the young master. I'm willing to even teach you." He goes, basically he makes like his foxy smile that he would normally in back in his world. He goes, "Really? Thanks, old man." He goes, "Not the problem, my boy." In which, for instant, Naruto thought he saw, Hiruzen. Then he just says, "Gigi?" In which, basically, this old ogre looks at him with a curious stare, and he's like, "Sorry, you remind me of someone I knew a long time ago." In which, he just nods. He was like, "It's understandable. What was this person to you?" He goes, uh, "You could say he was like my grandfather, but we weren't really related. He was always kind to me and helped me out. I mean, he was always there for me when I was in my darkest days. He was actually there for me, basically, when many people tried to hurt me. And he was there for me when I was basically told about something. Something very, very secretive that I was never supposed to know, but when I did, he convinced me I wasn't it." I mean, he just kind of goes on a little bit on how basically Hiruzen was, to him. Then he tells him basically a few stories about Hiruzen Sarutobi, about actually giving his name. And this old ogre is actually smiling. So, after basically a little more time passes of the story, he goes like, "Well, I'm gonna get back to the party. But hopefully you figure out everything, my boy." He goes, "Thanks." So he just sees him walking away. He goes like, I'm an idiot Yeah, I'm an idiot to think that he's like Gigi. But this day, maybe I'll give him that name. I mean, he really does seem like it. Unknown to Naruto. Okay, but anyways. So, after basically some time, Naruto makes shadow clones. Actually tell them to do the chakra exercise, but also sit on the ground before walking on the tree. Which they decide to do. Well, though Naruto is basically trying out some taijutsu style that he doesn't know, he basically says, "Oh, I knew my mom and dad. I mean, I know who they are." Still kind of mad at my dad for seeing the fox in me, but at the same time I understand his point of view. But I just wish I knew who Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki were. It's not like I can have some of their memories at all. If only. That's when he basically just threw a kick. Oh, hold up. Alright, sorry about that, everyone. My mom came in and gave me gave me my dinner. So, in a sense, because of that, all of a sudden, some flashes of memories are starting to happen. And Naruto starts like grunting and then screams like in pain a little bit, and then he doesn't pass out, but it does happen for a few where basically the old man, the blue hair one horn ogre, along with basically the young master ogre, along with the princess, along with Rigurd, come over along with Ragna. Basically, the goblins and the direwolf said, "Young master." Basically, then the ogre says, "Rimuru." Basically, after that, he stops. Even the clones were basically like worried for the boss. Basically, and he goes, "How?" Which they're confused. And he goes like, "How do I have my parents' memories?" In which that catches the ogre, shock. Which basically Rigor goes like, "Rimuru. I mean, Lord Rimuru, what do you mean?" He goes, "It's just I somehow." You heard it, huh? Which then he goes like, "Yes, about your parents and memories." It's like well, I mean, basically he kind of Rigor already saw the clones, but Rigor and Ragnar basically already saw the clones, but Rigor didn't see them. He's like, "Lord Rimurus, how is there so many of you?" He was like, "Shadow clones." Well, I actually wanted to try to tell you guys the truth sometime soon, but not this soon. We've been having a lot of things going on. Well, I think should explain some things then, after the party settled down, and tomorrow. In which he said he'll explain everything tomorrow. But the one, basically, he's looking at the ogres, but he sees the old man, basically eyes still are in shock, but with a calm face. And he seriously goes like, "He's really like too much like Gigi." So, after that morning, before the young master prince ogre, gives his response to Rimuru, he goes, "Alright, everyone." He called them to me. He was like, "Okay. So, here's the thing." He does sit down, and he goes like, "I want to tell you something at first. First off," basically he makes a cage bunchen, or at least two. He goes, this is something that's not magic. So, let me explain what it is. He basically just tells him about chakra, and that everyone has it where he's from, but he doesn't know if anyone can have it here. So, there's one of the goblins says, "What do you mean from where you're from? Are you from here, Lord Rimuru?" He goes, "Not really. I mean, I can understand if you guys are gonna hate me for this, but there's a reason why I told you not to harm humans, only though in self-defense. And if you can, run away from them as quickly as you can." Which they're like, which one goes like, "Yeah, because you said you like humans." He goes, "Well, Here's the thing. So he kind of says he was reincarnated into this world after he was killed. And he once was human. That's one of the reasons why. But there he also tells them the reason why, though, he said to have them self-defend themselves was because of how people treated him when he was a human. Which no one understood besides the old man. He basically just says where he was from, there was these creatures called Biju. There was 9 of them. And the strongest in them all was the nine-tailed fox. Which, that kind of shocks everyone. Basically, the Biju are just made out of pure chakra. They can't be killed, they can only be sealed. And that his father sacrificed him to become a Jinchuriki. A human sacrifice. And his parents both died, and the villagers didn't like him very well. He doesn't go into detail about what they'd done to him, but he just says no one ever liked him. He was isolated. He was treated like a plague, like he never even existed at all. And that he basically also was treated like a monster. So in a sense, to him, being a monster isn't really that hard than being human. You just gotta live your life. And he actually says, and besides, I like being here with everyone. Everyone treats each other the same. It's fun. And I make some really good friends. Heck, this is actually like my very own family. As he just realized when he said that, which all the goblins were actually very surprised, and then start cheering. But then he was like, are you guys not mad that I'm a human and I lied to you guys? And basically, Rigard says, why would we be upset with you, Lord Rimuru? In truth, it does kind of make sense. But at the exact same time, you're basically from a world where you were treated like a monster, basically. And this chakra you have, how is that even possible? He was like, he basically talks about the Rip Your Death Seal and the Trigram Apron that basically was a fusion between it, had it also. And that basically, when the Nine-Tailed Fox, dies, basically he would just die. But Naruto, when he died, the Nine-Tailed Fox would die with him. So in a sense, their souls were linked. So in a sense, everyone understood. He literally is the Nine-Tailed Fox, the Biju, which he has immense chakra, which they're all shocked, happy, not scared, but just very, very excited to know their lord is this strong. He's just kind of shocked by this, but then says thanks to everyone. I thought that change would have been better, since this way, then he says. Anyways, I know humans can only use chakra, but I figured we start trying to have some of the shinobi, my shinobi world come to this world. So I want to try to at least have a small unit of goblins, or anyone here, to actually use chakra. And I basically have a whole slew of knowledge in my head, so I'll actually have to make 100 or 1,000 clones to write down, and we can actually put them in a library or a vault, just so that everyone can have a few sense of things to actually learn from my world. In which, everyone says that'd be great. So, yeah, in a sense, after that, he basically goes back to his tent, in which the young master, ogre, gives him his, gives him his acknowledgement, and then, okay, yeah, I only did probably 2 episodes. Sheesh. Okay, basically, what happens is very simple. When Naruto's about to name them, he passes out, and, basically here's the thing. When he awakens, 2 ogres were there. Actually 3 to 4 were there. Basically, he was on one of them laps. When he woke up, he felt like 2 things heavy, and then he's looking up, he's like, okay, I'm a slime, and I think I have a feeling someone I know would have been mad if he knew I was having this life. Which, basically the old ogre just kind of chuckling and goes, if only Jiraiya was here, he would actually be calling his God's unlucky dog. And then he'll probably just have a lecherous grin on his face. Anyways, so, one of them, he basically hurts one of them saying, I'm glad you're awake, basically, Lord Rimuru. So, who we finds out it's Berimaru, the one that he's on the lap of Shizu. Then Shion, no wait, no, the pink hair one was Sheena, hold up. Then the lap he was on was Shion. Then the old man, he remembered the name popped in of Hakurua. Then basically just Hiruzen, he says. And then okay, his name is really hard to pronounce. Shuei. Then Kurori. You know, basically just those are the names of the ogres. And basically, after that, basically a few days pass, everything goes to canon, including the whole entire Lizard Men, getting the goblins to help out, so including Gabiru, you know, appearing. Naruto learns about Shion's bad cooking, and he actually, gives Gobta the bad cooking, and that all happens. That all goes exactly the same. Since I need to get going soon, I'm not gonna end it here, but I'm just gonna say this. What happens is this. So after that, they do find out about the orc army that's coming. So he has Soe basically to go scout, and when they do, they find out about it, and about the 2,000 orcs, and about the town and such, and about Gabiru, Gelma, Kelman, that could have been the thing. So it's just all that happens, and then they meet the Dryad, Dryad Trini, appears, and she goes, I'm sorry for my interruptions, coming in uninterrupted, but I must ask, Rimuru, the Lord of Monsters, please, defeat the Orc Lord. And that's where we're gonna leave it off. Hope you guys understand, I have to get going, so I have to rush the ending a little bit. My apologies. I will probably make another video, probably maybe the Issei or the Deku ones in the past. One of my past videos. So, you guys have a nice night, day, wherever you are. See you guys around. Bye.